Namaste, mi familia. Another beautiful day. And hey, today let's talk about purpose. Now, I know we've talked about purpose before, about being divinely inspired, and by connecting to your spirit, you can discover what your purpose is. But I still think that it's really hard to figure out what your purpose is. And I myself struggled with this in the beginning. And here's the thing. Your purpose does not necessarily have anything to do with your career. And I know that sounds crazy because it kind of seems like your career takes up a big part of your life. And of course, wouldn't it be great if like your purpose and your career were the same thing? And there's nothing wrong with that. And that is definitely something to aspire to. But it also can hold you back. And here's why. With your career, you need to make money, right? So if your purpose is constrained by making money, that's a pretty small purpose lens to look through. Now, in time, maybe you can make your purpose align with your career, and your job and your purpose can be the same thing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to be, right? So the way to think about this is take a look at your passions, right? So break down what you're really interested in. You know, what really makes your heart sing? What really makes you sad? The things that you're drawn to are more aligned with your purpose, and the things that you really want to avoid are not. I don't know, pretty basic, but it sets a groundwork that the framing is based on our intrinsic nature and our connection to spirit. And that's a better filter, right? Like, so that is a filter that narrows the playing field of your potential purpose that isn't constrained by money. So here's how this affected me. So I knew my purpose was to help people. And I had an inclination that it was to help them define their purpose and find their purpose so that I could help them. And so I started this journey by taking my thoughts from my enlightenment experience and writing them up as a book. My theory was, and I still believe this, is that a book is the most economically viable way to reach a larger audience, because ebooks can be given away for free, they can be very low cost, they can reach an international audience in places where they may not be able to afford to go to a seminar. But at the time, I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to make my money as a spiritual teacher, and I'm going to help people. I'm not going to be taking advantage of them, but I'm going to have, you know, my own resort where they're going to come to, they're going to practice, and we'll charge them, but we'll also make it available for free for people that can't afford it. But right there, I was constraining my purpose and my execution of my purpose to being able to make enough money in order to have a facility, to be able to charge people for services. And I really struggled with that. I'm like, I just don't feel like if I'm helping people achieve their, you know, divinely inspired purpose, that I should be making a buck off of that. So I created seminars, workshops, but the yoga studios that I ran them in wanted to be paid for their time. So we charged money for attending those workshops. And that was great. The workshops were fantastic and they really helped a lot of people. But I couldn't offer them to people that didn't have the money to go to the workshops. So I reached out to a church in my local area and offered to do the workshop for free, and they didn't have a problem with that. Like their facility didn't need to make money in order for me to use it, and that was such a better experience. The space that I was able to operate by just focusing on helping those people was a better space than over at the yoga studio where I was doing it for a nominal fee. Even though it wasn't a lot of money, just the fact that I was charging money for it. So my point is that your purpose does not necessarily have to align with your career. And that's what holds us back, is that cast a really wide net about what your purpose could be. Don't constrain it to making money. That may come, that may not come. Let that unfold. But first, just explore what really enlivens you. Think about what brings you joy and happiness, and think about ways that you could spend your time, not necessarily make money, but spend your time doing that on a grander scale. Try that out. Discovering your purpose is not an intellectual exercise. It's not getting a piece of paper and writing down 100 things that you might possibly do and narrowing that to a smaller list and keep refining it until you actually get to your top. No. Discovering your purpose is through experience. And that experience comes through spending time doing it. And when you do it, you feel something, right? When you get involved and you actually put energy into movement and doing that, there's a feeling that comes up that is unremarkable. Maybe it's not unremarkable, it's remarkable. It's remarkable. So step one, think about the things that bring you joy. And seriously, like, it's a little bit of a trick question because it's really hard to do that. But put some time and energy into defining that list of what makes you, brings joy into your life. And then think about the activities you could do to put that into motion. And then go try a few. And something will click. Something will arise in that moment that you go, hey, this is different than all the others. That's an opportunity to explore. Double down, double click, go into that a little further. Keep pursuing it. It may take 5 minutes, it may take 50 years, but keep pursuing it. And along the way, maybe you'll get a job doing that. Who knows? But don't constrain yourself to your purpose necessarily being also your career. That's a maybe good thing, but not necessarily a requirement. All right, let's try that. I'm Darby. We'll talk soon.